This episode of Outdoor Journal Radio is brought to you in part by the Invasive Species Centre, protecting Canada's land and water from invasive species. Freedom Cruise Canada, rent the boat, own the memories. J&B Cycle and Marine, your home for all things power sports, boats, and equipment. And Sail, the ultimate destination for your outdoor adventures.
Yeah, we're back, baby. Woo! You betcha. Welcome to the program. Peter Bowman, Angelo Viola, and the rest of the crew. You'll meet them here in the next few minutes, I'm sure. They keep popping in and interrupting us, but we'll try and keep them at bay.
At least they're being busy. They're staying busy, right? Or looking busy, maybe, you know.
Well, yeah. I think you taught them. I think they have been taught by a professional.
Wow. Yes. If you're looking busy, you'll stay on that job forever. Doesn't matter what you're doing.
That's right.
Right?
You betcha. What a day I had yesterday. I want to share with you guys here in a moment.
I've been waiting for this for ever.
Our guest coming up here in a few minutes is from the legendary Franklin Fishing and Outdoors Club.
Come on now.
Here in Southern Ontario. And I had a chance to, and you know, I've known about them for, it seems like the whole 100 years that they've been in existence. But I started talking to them, I'm going to say in the late 90s on Outdoor Journal Radio when it was a radio show. Yeah,
that's where I heard it from, because I know the name, but I've never.
Yeah, and we used to have him on the show quite regularly. John Witters, our producer, he was completely enthralled with them. Although I think he was getting like some.
He probably got a free membership for putting the
exactly. Because I used to say to him, Johnny, like, why do we have the Franklin Club on the show again? Weren't they here? Like, didn't we have them on last week?
That's going to be happening again now.
Yeah, exactly.
Dean's getting the membership. I love it. You good work, Dino.
I was invited to go. And I don't know why I've never gone before, to be honest with you. But anyways, yesterday I went because I was invited by a couple of folks. Marvin Geist, I want to mention him, and a good friend TJ Romanelli. They invited me to go and experience this with them. But the way they did it was to send me images of the last time the two of them had gone to this club. And, you know, there's fishing clubs, which are basically hatcheries with stock ponds. There's a lot of them around. Not to belittle any of them. I mean, I think it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. But you've seen one, you've seen them all, you know? Right. But when they showed me the stock that they were fishing, that convinced me. I need to go check this out.
No kidding.
These are not little trout that you get at a trout pond.
Right.
These are gigantic rainbow trout that we live a lifetime to connect with. And they were telling me, you every cast you get one of those. I know, yeah, okay. You know how many times I've heard that? But I went.
Is it literally every cast? Pretty much, or like
there are lulls. What I found is that there'll be a 10-minute lull, and then
of like no fish.
Yeah, I think what happened, the way I kind of figured it out, the fish that you're fishing for that. You're fishing from shore, first of all. So you can see them. You can see them. When the sun and the clouds all work out for you, I mean, you can see them. Anyways, I think what happens is after you get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of there, because it's mayhem. I got to also tell you this. These fish have got to be supercharged with some special food, which I want to find out from Kevin here, because they're feeding him something that I've never seen more explosive hits on baits than what these things were doing. And the minute that they connect, they're straight out of the water, 4 feet, 5 feet. And they're fat. So when they splash down on the water, the whole lake can hear them.
Oh, nice.
It's crazy. But anyways, after 4 or 5 of those that you get out of this school, it tends to spook them a little bit. And they move. But 10 minutes later, it's filled up again. When you see them coming back in again. I don't know if it's the same fish or maybe they're circumventing the lake or whatever.
Doing a circle like Lake Erie Walleye during the year sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And anyways, so they come back and then you do your 5, 6, 7, 8. Hell breaks loose and then they move, and another bunch comes
Crazy.
in.
That's crazy.
Or
it's good that you don't get them every cast. Then that's a good thing. And,
you do
honestly,
for that.
For that lull, for that
lull,
crazy period.
Pre-lull.
Yeah.
You cast.
Yeah.
You're with that fish for 5, 6, 7 minutes. By the time you get the fish to be able to land it, because we're using really light line, light equipment, so you can't horse them in. And now you couldn't anyway. These things are insane. I've never seen. I know I fished for steelhead in BC. I've fished for rainbow everywhere. I've never seen fish like this.
Wow,
they're nuts. They're insane. So they've got to be fed something that we got to get
super
Kevin
carb,
to
super protein, super carb combo.
But it's a crazy experience. I'm glad I did it. Now I'm going to be one of their best ambassadors, because if you ever need a fishing fix, if you ever want to bring a kid to an environment where they will get completely locked into fishing, this place is it. And it is remote. It's 45 minutes from where we're sitting right now, but you might as well be in the bowels of northern Canada somewhere.
Wow. Cool.
So
can't wait.
Anyways, he's coming on. It was established in 1909, by the way. Kevin Johnston will be joining us here shortly.
Nice.
Fantastic. In the meantime, I don't know how many of you noticed, but I've got the Fish in Canada Throwback original.
The OG.
The OG? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, well, kind of.
Okay. The OG Fish in Canada logo with the catch your limit, but limit your catch. And I was watching our very first episode the other day on YouTube.
No way.
And I had forgotten, shame on me, and it was the very first episode, because we talked about covering this season where, here's what we're going to do. And one of the episodes is going to be, the 1986 Pro Bass Classic that you were in and Reno was in. And we used this on that show. So I thought we had started this a few years into the Fish in Canada show, but we used it on the very first show.
Well, I can remember, as long as I knew you, I remember that saying. I don't know when you started it, but it seems right.
Apparently on the very first episode.
Seems right, because I think you guys brought that in so quick. Like it was in the day of catch and keep and kill and eat. Everybody had that. And there was a bit of tournament stuff going on. The U.S. had more tournaments, but so that's where you guys brought it in, and
cool,
stuck to it. I love it.
Go check it out. You want to see the very first episode? It's on YouTube now on Fish in Canada.
Come on now.
This is what you will get if you go to fishincanada.com or the store. Shopfishincanada.com.
Shop. Fishing Canada.
You need the dot.
All right,
Come on, we got to be specific. If we're going to get them there, we got to give them the right
See
directions.
the color of that rainbow on that beautiful hoodie?
There
That's
you go.
the color of the rainbow trout in the Franklin Fishing Club
Got the
waters.
green back like that too?
Exactly like that. You see that vibrant blue, or whatever you call it underneath?
Yeah.
Underneath thread?
Come
That's
on,
what you're
really,
gonna get.
Okay. Every one of them.
Every single one. They are like a painting.
Clones. No kidding.
That was your clone. They painted this beautiful fish, and then they said, okay, we got to make another 10,000 of those, and they just cloned them.
That's awesome.
Anyways, that's a beautiful hoodie. But there's a
could
variety
wear that
of
fishing the trout in Franklin. You could wear that hoodie.
Exactly. But there's a variety of species. I think we have 8 or 9. How many species now, Nick? 7 species. Like I said, 8 or 9 or 7.
Yeah, that might have come out of his bum, because I think you surprised him on that.
I know.
On that question too.
I think
right?
there's more than 7.
Two
So we have
walleye.
8. So I was correct in saying 8. We have 2 different walleye. Oh, all right. Thank you, Nick. Go back to what you were doing now. And a variety of other things, including Fish in Canada logo, swag.
Yeah.
If you want to be a part of the
about
group,
something like that, maybe?
or what Mr. Bowman has got. Soon we will have, we're going to start introducing some new items along the same line as the, what's our, that's a bunch of bullshit shirt in commemoration
It's a bunch of bullshit.
That's the one.
That's the shirt.
But there's going to be some new shirts coming up soon.
I'll tell you what, folks. These hoodies right here, this hoodie is, sometimes you buy hoodies, you have to have a t-shirt on underneath. This sucker, you don't want to wear a t-shirt underneath. They're so comfortable. Like, I'll wear this until like summertime because it gets too hot, because like right now I'm just sitting here, it's just like, I love this hoodie.
It's
I
like
swear to God.
You feel like a baby wrapped up in a wonderful little fleece blanket.
Well, that's it.
Eh?
I never thought of that. Yeah, I love it.
Listener feedback time. We got a guest that's waiting for us. Listener
Yeah,
feedback.
true.
Russell Harris, 6994.
6994.
Via YouTube.
Yes, sir.
And he says, I respond to episode 123.
That's a spelling error.
I know, but
by our
and
friend.
Dean said he's going to give them to us without any corrections. So I'm going to read
That's
them.
Dean's.
Yeah, that's my
That's
error.
Dean's spelling error. He didn't write that.
See, on mine, it's good, though. You guys got a bad version.
Oh, so it was you.
Dean's got a pen marked N in there.
I've got
His
a
mine's
bad
perfect.
All right. In response to episode 123, they're spraying what on our crown land?
Come on
Question
now.
mark.
That's great.
So he goes on to say, back in early 70s, I was pulling pickerel
Come on now.
out of lake trout in
Trout Lake.
Trout Lake in North Bay.
Wow. I didn't
Pulling
know there was
pickerel
pickerel up
out of
there.
trout.
Wow.
Wow.
No, there's,
There's smallmouth bass
and
there.
there's walleye, too.
Yeah. Well, there's walleye too, yeah. So they got both species.
Sorry there, Russell Harris.
Their gills were half white from pollution. I
Ew.
showed my dad, and we took them to the nearest conservation office. Since then, I refuse to eat fish from southern Canada.
Does he not say what they said to him?
Now I won't touch the fish or birds in the subarctic in North Manitoba because the amount of pollution and out of control fertilizer and pesticides that have gotten into the rivers.
Wow.
I mean,
It's got a point. I mean, there's definitely that going on everywhere.
a little overkill.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on your attitude. If you were going to eat fish and wildlife every day, you might have an issue if that's the case or something like that. But I don't know, maybe the odd meal, the odd pickerel. Like in Lake Ontario, I'll still keep a pike or a walleye from Quinte every now and then. I don't do it on a daily basis.
It's better the stuff like you're getting in the store, and I'm sure it's all better than that anyways.
Yeah, who knows where the store
That's
stuff
what I was
is,
going
right?
to say. The whole point there is you don't know what you're getting in the store.
Yeah.
At
Right.
least you know what you're getting if you catch it yourself, right?
Right.
And yes, you don't know what the water that's housing that fish is like in terms of pollutants, for
Right.
sure.
I mean,
Well,
if there's farmland around, yes, fertilizer and pesticides is definitely getting into the watershed. I mean, if there's hillsides that drop into creeks and it goes into lakes, et cetera. So he's right on that too, because there are certain areas that are really bad. But I mean, when you're saying subarctic, to me, northern Manitoba, if there's any place to eat a walleye, I would say northern Manitoba and a nice snow goose meal. I'd be eating it from there. I'd have no problem with that. But
Okay, so here's my problem with what you just. I was listening to you, and sometimes,
time.
sometimes I do listen to you. Not very often because it messes my head up, but every once in a while stuff gets through.
it's working.
So you're saying that in those areas where you've got farmlands, because the chemicals that they spray on the produce and the earth on those farmlands will somehow leach into the watershed, which in turn will
Some of it,
contaminate the fish that we consume, right?
Contaminates the water, and the
Right.
fish live in the water.
Well,
so.
it makes perfectly good sense. You actually, not very often, but you made perfectly good sense to me.
He doesn't treat me very well, everybody. Yeah, everybody thinks we're buddies, but you know what? Deep down inside, he hates my guts so
That was
much.
very logical. However,
However,
I wonder if Russell Harris 6994 has ever given thought to the vegetables that he's
Exactly.
consuming that get directly sprayed with those chemicals and pollutants that Mr. Bowman says, and he's right, that's leaching into our waterways, which will eventually possibly pollute some of these fish, the pickerels
The
that
pickerels.
Russell would like to consume.
what about the cows that are eating all that stuff? The cows that are eating that, getting the meat there, it gets in there too. It gets in everywhere. Anything we eat, it gets into.
You know?
So you see, here's my little stupid theory in that, is that I actually believe, although it could be bad in the long run, but we build up an immunity, a little bit of an immunity. And when we're taking these little bit of stuff here from the Bay of Quinte, for instance, I'm eating these fish from there. Yeah, they're not perfect, but if you have a meal every now and then, I think if you don't have an immunity or immune system, you're going down hard or harder than anybody. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't block it right out myself.
And I'm not kidding. It just dawned on me. I think vegetables are the ones that we should be the
they're
most.
They're worse because they're getting the first shot. Everything else is leaching down, and all it gets a partial shot.
It's downstream. This is right on it.
That's right. That's
Bubba,
right.
I'm speaking to you.
Bubba doesn't care. He doesn't care one bit. See, that's the narrow-mindedness of a guy like Bubba. I'll eat all those veggies. Give me all those pesticides.
Every day. That's all. In fact, that's all I eat.
That's all I have right there.
But that's okay.
Give me that stuff.
Those chemicals are good.
See, Bubba's different because I get what he's saying. There's a whole more. There's more to it than just pesticides.
No, but I understand. But we should be concerned. I mean, if we take the time on the valuable time on this program to discuss the possibility of chemicals leaching into our waterway, which possibly could contaminate Russell's pickerel. Mm-hmm. Then why the hell don't we take the time to talk about where the source of this contaminant is coming from, which is on the fields and in the vegetables that they're growing? And
another thing, if you want to fight the battle even more, after you have that pickerel, a nice shot of whiskey, a nice Canadian whiskey, that alleviates a lot of stuff in your system.
Burns it right up.
Trust me on that one. Right. The beer that you have before you eat it is kind of loosening things up, and then that whiskey kills it all. So
hopefully, Russell, we haven't hurt your feelings, but
no, Russell, we agree with you to an extent. Yeah, we just haven't stopped.
A little overkill. That's
subarctic in northern Manitoba. Good for you, though. Good for you. To each his own.
Conservation Corner. Speaking about problems, this is a problem right here, folks. Brought to you by Invasive Species Centre.
Come on now.
We're talking about the grass carp. That feller. Right there.
Feller. You sound like Steve.
That feller right there.
That feller right there. He come over here a long time ago.
One of 4 species of invasive Asian carp that is potentially contaminating. This is contamination right here. Never mind Russell's pickerel.
Hey, they're going to eat the contaminated weeds.
Yes, they will do that. Yes, they will do that. They can
absorb some of that, and some of our good fish maybe.
In fact, they could consume up to 80% of their body weight
in those contaminated weeds. Yeah,
40%.
That's okay. It's a lot.
Well, if there's 2 of them, there'd be 80%, wouldn't it? Isn't that the way that works?
That's the way it works. Additive.
It's no laughing matter, though. This is right. Thankfully these carp have not taken hold yet in our waterways, but there is evidence that they will and are.
We've yet to see. Do you think we're going to see one in our day?
I don't think this year. I have a feeling that
by the time we're done fishing ever.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
Wow. Well, we'll be able to identify them because we know what they look like. We've downloaded the apps and et cetera. Oh, yeah? Go ahead.
Somebody yesterday at lunch, a scientist, we were talking about the goby as the invasive species.
Right.
I won't share that with you now.
Okay.
But I will at some point soon.
All right. Might be a
good podcast. I
reached
out the other day. I think he's going to be up on the podcast pretty soon. So.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
What a fascinating gentleman that guy was.
That's cool
stuff. What we can do, we need to be vigilant, obviously. We can't keep our heads firmly buried, where
in the sand.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
You were going somewhere completely different, eh?
I was grasping.
You're going further south in the sand, weren't you?
What we need to do is learn to identify such grass carp and report them when you see them. If you catch one inadvertently, there's a whole protocol on the site. It's called asiancarp.ca, but there's a whole protocol there on what to do if you were to incidentally catch one of these things, which is probably pretty rare.
But maybe one listener of all our listeners, for the millions and millions of people listening right now, there might be one that gets, there
you go.
That catches one and knows what to do. Download the reporting guide, the images, and you'll know what to do.
Where do they get that?
asiancarp.ca.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, in the news, this one is a bit of a shocker. This is brought to you by J&B, your outdoor superstore. J&B Cycle and Marine, Ontario's largest Princecraft and Mercury dealer, where they've been driven to service use since 1970. Get your complete packages there. They have all kinds of other stuff, but outboard motors, boats, trailers,
pontoon boats, deck boats,
combos, you name it.
They got it.
They bring you the news each and every week on the show. I was just talking to Rob the other day, weren't we, Dean? Just the
We
other
were,
day.
yeah.
How's Robbie doing?
Doing good.
Good.
He's doing good.
Such a nice guy.
He wants us up there. We're going to go up there and do some.
Well, we're going up in the fall.
Well, that's what we figured. But didn't we look at that schedule, Dean, and it didn't quite work out or something?
Well, they have a tournament
double
there
shoot.
that they have a tournament in Timmins, a walleye tournament
That they wanted us to be a part of.
that will be not in person part of this year, but next year at the championship. Well, I think you'll see us there.
That's right. Big event.
Yep.
And talk about pickerels, boy. You'll find pickerels there.
That's
Lots
right.
of pickerels.
That's pickerel country right there.
Yeah, ma. Yeah,
More
ma.
than Trout Lake has, I'll guarantee
Come on
you.
now.
You betcha.
Uh-huh.
In the news, potential decline of walleye in
Yeah,
Lake
this
Erie. What is that?
projected decline because Lake Erie is without a doubt. It's a bordering body of water, U.S. and Canada, but let's just say even in North America, it has, in my opinion, the highest walleye population of
Biggest
any
by number.
Yeah, by number of walleye. It's an incredible fishery, and then it just keeps getting better and better and better. However, right now they're talking about this projected decline in the population. So the population right now, I think, is 80.9 million. Is that what they're saying? Or that was in 2024.
Well, I remember reporting back, once again, way back in the day, but I remember that apparently if you would fly over Lake Erie, this is now in the mid-2000s, like 2005, 2010, if you were flying low over Lake Erie, it looked like oil slicks. And these were giant schools of walleye. It looked like oil slicks moving around
No
Lake
kidding,
Erie.
eh?
Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it because when you talk about it, that's 81 million basically.
That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish. That was in 2024. They're going to talk about the decrease this year at the end of the year, I'm assuming, is to 77.4 million. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. You know what I mean? That's a lot of, it's a big enough decline to probably show some concern. I'm not sure.
Well,
what the MNR there are thinking, or both DNO and MNR are
if
thinking.
this is a food-based decline, forage-based decline, it's no surprise. I mean, it should have. In fact, they probably could have written a book on it. When you have that
exactly.
many predators in a body of water,
And it's growing and growing and growing.
Exactly.
If they're not doing any bad yet, then all of a sudden,
the
something's
food's
going
got
to
to
drop.
run out.
Yeah,
something's got to give, right?
Something's got to drop, and that's and you know what? When something like this happens, Lake Erie always has had, as Anne's talked about in the past, and still right now, has always had great potential to produce walleye. So even if these declines happen, so this might not be the only year it happens, right? This could be another 4 or 5 years, and everybody's starting to say, oh, the sky is falling, and then it goes to like the Bay of Quinte did. There's no, oh my God, we're in dire straits. But it will come back eventually, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of nature taking care of business, really, is what it is.
It's a fascinating piece to read. Our very own Dean Taylor has assembled
Come
all
on
of
now.
the facts.
No, Dean did
Lots
that?
of
Come
facts.
on now.
Yeah, tons of facts, and it's all available at fishingcanada.com under the news.
Interesting read.
News, very interesting read. The numbers are breathtaking. When I
Yeah.
look at these numbers,
it's
and
crazy.
I equate them to walleye. I say, oh my God, I can't even imagine what that biomass would look like.
The charter boat business out there is on fire right now.
Of course.
Just on fire for walleye. Crazy.
as it was on Lake Ontario for salmon
For
fishing.
salmon, yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
things kind of tipped to the side a little bit, and that whole thing came down, crashing down. So hopefully that's not what this implies. Hopefully it's just a
I think
temporary
this
little
is-
blip.
They're natural. The salmon thing was they're introduced, right?
Right.
So there's that difference. We can hope that the naturals take over still.
All righty, fan question of the week brought to you by fishfindermounts.com.
Yeah.
Fishfindermounts.com.
Boy, I've been hearing that word a lot lately.
I had an experience with that yesterday where I was
saying.
fishing. We'll talk about the fishing part of it later on. But this gentleman approached me that recognized me from the show, and he says, hey, you got a minute? I want to talk to you. I got 5 boats. 4 of them haven't been on the water in 4 years.
Damn. I hate when that happens.
I said, whoa, you want to talk to me about that? No. I want to talk to you about that rig you guys got. You got that Prince
He wanted to buy a rig?
You
for his
did,
6?
actually. That rig you guys got,
love
that
it.
Princecraft rig. He says, well, I got one almost like it. It's not a Princecraft, but it's the same rig. And I want to outfit it just like yours. So I've got the Garmin's, but I need to, how are you mounting all this technology on that boat? I wanted to do the same thing. So I explained it to him what we did. And we had this transducer there, that one there, this one here. And then, you need these poles, these special poles for them. He said, well, where do I get those? Well, fortunately for us, it's a Canadian company, so we're not dealing in U.S. To bring them into the country. They're made in British Columbia, and they're called fishfindermounts.com. He said, I know, I want to know the name of the company. Yeah, just go to fishfindermounts.com to get those. Okay, all right. About 2 minutes later, as I'm explaining the piece, he said, what was the name of that company again?
No, he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishfindermounts.com. Yeah, that's their website. Yeah, that's their website. Yeah. All right. About 5 minutes later, what are they called?
Oh, my God.
This drove me crazy. I said to Peter, this would have been a perfect fishfindermounts.com commercial.
It just was. You just made one right there.
I'm
Perfect.
sorry if
well
I did
done.
that. All right. Anyways,
well done.
That was my experience
No,
yesterday.
that's good because that happens a lot. Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Carry on.
Submitted by Northern Plog.
Plog.
Is that right?
Northern Plog.
Yeah, via YouTube. So via YouTube, this is a question.
So this qualifies, Dean, for
does.
the Buckaroos?
Yeah, it does.
Perfect.
Now, there's a little caveat here today. This the Buckaroos thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
We have a little reduction.
There's something going on,
Correct.
Dean?
We got word from above that there's been a reduction in the prize.
This is to show you how you think
can't do
Angelo.
that.
And you think Angelo runs the company?
No.
No, there's one above him that
Our
totally
bosses
runs.
have sent down word that it's now cut in half.
You can't do that.
It's $50.
$50.
There's nothing wrong with $50.
That's reneging,
It's
isn't
inflation. The election just went on and all that stuff. Now the inflation's starting to happen, right?
I think we should have her on the podcast to explain.
Oh.
We need the Countess on this show. In fact, she should have been the one breaking this news.
We should have recorded a piece. That would have been the best. Have her in there in English and French.
Both official languages. Well, there you have
There
it.
you go.
Right
It's
from
still
the,
a good deal. It's still, I mean, think about that. It's still a damn good prize.
Of course, it's a great deal.
You get this thing. You get this basically.
Exactly.
Get a hoodie for almost free, I'd say.
Not quite, but
You're
close.
getting there.
Close.
Quality hoodie. I mean, you get a cheapie.
It's like getting
yeah.
it free. The quality and the price don't match. There you go. So for 50 buckaroos on Fishing Canada's store. By the way, we're going to add some exciting new products coming very soon.
Nice. I think the Northern Plug, without even reading this, the Northern Plug should get it because he obviously got a kick in the butt. Where you're like, oh damn, it's the 100 down to 50.
Well,
so
no, he's got to go through
let's
the
be
process.
nice to him, okay?
Let's see what he says.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'll read it out there. With
All right.
big e-socks. So the pike and muskie
Yep.
and the chain pickerel, the real pickerel.
The real pickerel. Yes.
Folks are dialed into the moon and weather patterns. Absolutely. We use, so he's a muskie guy probably. We use wind, weather, lunar tables, and apps to hopefully improve our chances of knowing when to be on the prime spots. What new apps, tables, websites could you suggest that would up our chances as we plan our trips? What indicators from the apps like weather patterns, wind direction do you rely on prior to getting out on the water? And then P.S. Pete, you need a water gun on FNC1 to defend yourself from the Karen Dock Warriors.
Karen Dock
Dude, I
Warriors.
love that. I'm going to be, if you can find me a nice, powerful water gun that...
A water cannon.
Oh my God,
You know
I
those
love
like
it.
water cannons? It's
That'd
like
be
a
that-
fire hose. Just blow them right off the dock.
Oh my God. Just set her right up on the deck of the boat and say, okay, asshole, let's dance. Oh my God, I love that. Anyways, I don't know about new apps, but I before the show, I just started looking at what I have in my phone here. The one of the main ones that we use because we're Garmin guys is Active Captain.
That's a great
and
app.
it's got everything, but it's got a great mapping app that you can have on your phone, so you can actually download the areas and get your 1 foot contours, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're a Garmin user, Active Captain is highly recommended. It's mandatory, basically. I have one, Muskie Metrics, that I just downloaded. It's funny you asked us a couple of weeks ago. Just basically, again, the muskie stuff. Muskie guys will know this kind of stuff. my weather apps, I just use AccuWeather. I find it to be the best one. But one or two that Dean and I and Ange all use is either Windy or Wind Finder. Mm-hmm. Those two are essential for when you're going. Now the Wind Finder I use kind of just as a quick chart. Okay, that's going to be a good day. It's not too windy. It's coming from the northeast, and it's only a 10K, whatever. The Windy app, and they're free. You can look on a map, and it actually shows you the direction of the wind coming down. So these little arrows showing it, and it changes through the day. If it changes as the hour goes, you can change it, and you see the way the wind changes. That's a big deal when you're going fishing. You know what I mean?
Huge.
And that's not just for aiding you in catching bigger fish. It's aiding you in getting out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times we'll see this water and we're going to go to a big body of water and we want to fish the northeast corner, but oh my God, there's a 30K wind going to be pounding in there all day. So it makes you, you help your decision on where you're going to go or where you're going to go in that lake or et cetera.
Well, how are you going to
So,
fish it? I mean, you might still go.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's inevitable. You're still going to go, but how are you going to fish it?
Even like where you're going to put the boat in. And
Exactly.
Everything, yeah.
If it's pounding in the launch versus a nice calm launch, you can get out in. Mm-hmm. The other one I have that I use is, and it's just kind of a moon app only. It's called The Moon, and it gives you everything you didn't know about the moon. I have no idea about 80% of the shit on this app, but it does give you the moon phase right off the hop and stuff like that, right?
I think the lunar tables.
Well,
probably, and there's lots of apps that have that.
Yeah, the muskie apps all do that too.
So lunar tables are vital for muskie fishing.
Yeah, see that right there.
Vital.
You got the good, bad, and no good, and all that stuff. So muskie anglers have this down more than anybody.
And
they really do.
Unlike us Lugans, these guys, these muskie fishermen, actually plan their trips around these peak periods. Unlike us, we say, "Oh, I wonder what the moon phase." Oh, it says we shouldn't be out here. Anyways, okay, let's continue fishing. No, they plan their trips around that. We just look at it as incidentally. What's the moon? What's the moon looking like today? It doesn't change whether we're out there or not, right?
Yeah.
But muskie anglers, yes.
Yeah, we don't take advantage of it. Like even the moonrise and moonset in each day, we should be doing it more for all other species, not just muskie, right? For big pike and walleye, et cetera, et cetera. We don't do it as much, but they are,
I was told by an old timer one time that the moon phase, and in particular lunar phases, affect he was a hunter, affect big animals more so than tiny animals. What do you mean? Well, it just seems, from my experience, the bigger animals, in other words, the trophies in that particular herd or species, is affected more. Speaking of the countess, there she is. The
all
lovely
rise.
Countess. The bigger of the species are affected more by the sun and the moon positioning on Earth. Don't know why. He wasn't able to explain it to me.
Well, that equates to the muskie world. Those guys aren't out
and
for
big muskie,
that's what I mean. They're not out for a 36-inch muskie.
Exactly.
They're out for a 48 to 57-inch muskie. They want the giants out there. Over 50 is the number, and that's the ones. Those are the guys and girls that stick to that table like glue. They just say, okay.
And yet nobody has been able to explain to me in all these years I've been in this business exactly what is it that influences. I can understand saltwater species, because obviously
Tides.
The moon is everything to a tide.
Yeah.
But in freshwater, where it's been proven without a shadow of a doubt that most isolated freshwater lakes have no tide influence at all. Mm-hmm. And nobody's been able to explain to me exactly how the moon would influence, say, a giant muskie on Eagle Lake.
Right. Perfect example.
On the St. Lawrence, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe, but on Eagle Lake, nobody's been able to. And I've asked 1 million people about this.
I think it's way beyond the human scope
comprehension.
Yeah, because so my wife works for the police department, and I'm not bullshitting here. On a full moon, crime is ridiculous.
See, I don't.
It's like there's activity level going on more than like, I don't understand why that would be, but I think when you look at a full moon, if you feel really good, really good, or whatever, oh my God, I'm having a great day physically. You look at that moon phase, or look at that time. I'm telling you, there's more to it.
Or is it the opposite?
No, we're human.
Is it because
we're influenced by it?
We're attributing it to, oh, it was a full moon. Oh, no wonder that guy did that. Meanwhile, that guy would have done that, or he did it last week when there wasn't a full moon. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, we're all affected. Everything alive is affected by it somehow. I don't know how, but I think we are all affected by it.
Maybe we're werewolves. This segment brought to you by Sail, your home for all good things outdoors, including mostly for fishing. I'm going to talk about this one: rods, reels, and tackle, and line, and anything fishing.
Beautiful combination right there, hunting and fishing. I mean, I guess there's other stuff too, right?
A ton of clothing, obviously, if you haven't been there. A ton of clothing as well. Sail, your outdoor store. If you don't have one near you, then simply go to sail.ca. That's SAIL.ca for all your outdoor needs.
Yeah.
And I got my outdoor needs all looked after yesterday.
Yes, do tell. Yeah. Where were you? Where was you?
Our guest, his name is Kevin Johnston. He is General Manager of the Franklin Fishing Club. Actually, it's Fishing and Outdoors Club is the way it's listed, I believe. And it was established in 1909.
Holy crap. And still going. Nice.
And still going. Looks brand new. I was so impressed. Welcome to the program, Kevin.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, man. What a thrill. I think I had a chance to tell you this yesterday. I've had folks from the club on the old radio show years ago, several times, and every time that they were on, I was so excited. I kept saying, I got to go check this out. Got to go check it out. I hadn't been.
Oh, this is your first trip.
This is the first trip
I
there.
thought you had been there before for some reason.
No.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, wow, that's the only thing I could say.
Do we need to have like a work? What do you call it?
A little excursion.
Excursion,
for the team.
like once a month or through the summer or whenever. You know what I mean? Just a field trip. Yeah, maybe that. I'm sure everybody here would be happy with that.
So, Kevin, first of all, welcome to the program, man. It's a pleasure having you here. You've been there how long, managing the club?
Almost 6 years now.
6 years.
I joined the club in 2019.
Okay.
You went from a member to the manager? Is that what it was? Is that the transition?
Actually, the previous manager, who had been here for 35 years, unfortunately was not feeling well, and I came in just to help him for a couple of months. And unfortunately, he passed away quite suddenly.
Wow.
And then I became de facto general manager.
Wow.
So I jumped in and started doing the job.
Oh, fantastic, man.
Okay.
Just to bring folks up to speed, the Franklin Club, Fishing Club, Outdoors Club, is a member-owned club, fishing club. You know,
private club. I'm
private
assuming?
club, yeah.
Okay.
It's a private club, and it's member-owned. The only way I can describe it is, for those of you who golf, think of
just about to say that.
Yeah,
I was
going
to ask
on
you
a
that.
golfing outing, right? And you plan on spending the whole day out golfing, and at the end of your golfing day, you go in and have a wonderful meal, have a shower, clean up, change your clothes, have a wonderful meal, and then at the end of the day,
At the
head
locker
home.
room and everything like that?
Everything.
That's
Blows
awesome.
my mind.
That is awesome.
You still got to be pinching yourself when you wake up in the morning and say, I'm working in this place. This isn't work.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to be out in such a beautiful scenery. It's a real privilege. And the nice thing is that we're also under an hour from downtown Toronto.
Right.
So we do have a lot of members that come up from Lawrence Park, Riverdale, and they'll come up in the morning at 5 a.m. and fish for a couple hours and then head to work as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, it's that close, right?
That's awesome.
Think about it.
Yeah, that'd be a great start to the day. Do your shower there?
It's 45 minutes from here, from where we are right now. Think about that. If you wanted to have an early morning fish
Yeah.
and a breakfast, you just run up there, get out there,
That's
have your
awesome.
thing, and the environment itself. I mean, the fishery, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the environment that they've built there, it is so pristine and natural. Like, you swear you're in the middle of Nowhere.
Really, eh?
I mean,
Is it like a golf club in there in that you'd have to go with a member or join? Could you go with it as a guest?
That's right. Okay. It's a private members club, and it's a lot like a golf club where there's an equity purchase in the corporation, and then you have your yearly dues on top of that. There's also lots of things to do here for the non-angler in the family, which is the nice thing, right? It's not just for the angler in the family, it's for the spouse and for the kids, for the grandkids.
Tell us about some of those.
Yeah.
Which part? Oh, okay. So there's about 3 kilometers of walking trails. Yeah. We also have 3 campsites that are included in your membership that are not any extra cost. We also have a cottage on the property that we rent to members. We also have a fully functioning dining room, like you mentioned, a deck, and then we also do a lot of member events. So throughout the year, we'll do special occasions, the obvious ones, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, but then we also do have a really big party in the fall for Oktoberfest. We do Lobster Fest in the summer. We do lots of member events.
It's fantastic.
The other thing I need to mention is that included in your membership, we have a pro program. So a lot like a golf club, you have a golf professional. Here we have fishing professionals, where included in your membership, you can have casting lessons, guided fishing, and just general instruction, which is included in your membership. So there's that too.
I think the guided part might be a bit of a stretch. Like anybody who needs guiding up there's something wrong. Okay?
Is it that good?
Well, I'll tell you what we did just for fun. We went to the extreme far end of the property when we got there. Typical, like when we go to lake, get as far away from the
boat launch as far as possible.
So we went to the extreme far end, started there, and like a gazillion fish were sitting in this little finger that a dam dumps into.
You can see the fish?
Oh, you can see them everywhere. And so just for fun, we said, let's fish our way back. And just
You're walking the bank, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And everywhere we stopped, there was fish after fish after fish. And I'm not talking trout pond fish, okay? What most people...
You're thinking little 12, 14 inches.
Exactly.
Like that,
These are mutants. These are beautiful, big, gigantic rainbow trout, full color. Oh. It's just spectacular. And those fish, by the way, holy mackerel. Like, what do you feed those things? The minute you get them on the line, they are airborne, and they're up 4 or 5 feet.
Eh?
Oh, my God. It's crazy.
And it's just rainbows?
You got specks as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So one of the things that makes us unique is that we have a fully functioning hatchery on the property. So all the fish that we stock in our lake, which we stock approximately 15,000 a year, we produce on the property from our own brood stock. So our fish are raised exclusively for the Franklin Club and exclusively for sport fishing.
By the way, I had an opportunity to have a little peek at that brood stock. Holy smokes.
The mama bears are pretty good, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But not only that, you could see where their offspring get the color, because every one of those gigantic spawning fish that I saw yesterday, they were full color, full bloom. I've never seen anything like it. You know our steel, our rainbow trout hoodie?
Yeah.
How brilliant that color.
The embroidered logo.
That's
no
exactly
kidding,
what
eh?
it is.
Oh, that's cool.
Crazy.
How old are those brood stock, those big fish that you keep for breeding? How old would they be, or what age range do you keep them at?
So if we see a fish that we like, obviously for like color, size, things like that, good genetics, we'll pull them out at about. We won't stock them. We'll put them in our brood tank at about 2.5 years. And then we keep them for about 5 years.
Cool.
And then at the end of their lifespan, which is about 8 years, we release them into the lake. So last year we released, I think, 12 to 15 pound broodstock rainbows into the main lake. Oh yeah. And then we put little tags on them. Yeah. So that when members caught them, they let us know. And then we have a little bit of a fun competition of who caught the most.
Nice.
And then we have a prize like dinner for two or something like that. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Oh, fantastic.
That's
man.
awesome.
So over 100 years, before we get there, I want to talk about the specs because I was surprised, to be honest with you, that they were specs. When I first saw them, as I told you, Pete, they looked like a little lake trout, long, thin, a bit of a head on them, no real coloration, other than, the typical spec leading edge on that dorsal fin or the
white
pectoral fins.
Yeah.
Other than that, you would never know that they were,
Really,
they were specs. Yeah. Now, somebody told me that they were natural fish.
No.
No. Okay, so those were all stock.
There are some natural occurring brook trout.
Okay.
In our facility, but 90%. Sorry, in our waterways, some of the brook trout do propagate.
Okay.
But I'd say 90% of them come from the hatchery.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Is there a reason why they're sort of a bland-looking silver fish?
Well, it depends on if you catch a female or if you catch the male, right? I mean, the female's not as colorful, but the males are obviously a lot more colorful. It also depends on the time of year and things like that.
So I'm assuming you have it's a spring-fed lake as well. Then if brook trout can spawn in there, it must be spring-fed, I believe.
So our lake is supplied by 3 creeks essentially, and then there's also about 4 springs in the main lake.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful water. You look at the water and say, "My God, this water!" Those fish have got to be smiling down there because it's just the
perfect. Yeah.
Environment for those fish. It's fantastic.
Yeah, one of the things that is it surprising is that we stock 15,000 fish in a 22-acre lake, and we don't feed them after they leave the hatchery.
Oh, you don't?
Oh, wow.
No.
Oh.
They all fend for themselves. So, and they do really well, and they grow in the lake.
I thought, because of the size of those fish, I thought you guys were on some super high protein program every day. So those are natural in terms of feed.
That's right. Once they enter the lake, once we stock them, we don't feed them anymore.
How big are they when you put them in the lake?
The rainbows, 14 to 16 inch, and the brook trout, 12 to 14.
Wow.
And then they fend for themselves. So they grow to that size naturally.
That's right.
What are they feeding on? Like, what's the natural forage?
Mostly freshwater shrimp, scuds, I think.
Okay.
Crayfish also is another big food source. And then the regulars like leeches and things like that.
Wow.
Mayflies, caddis.
There must be a nasty food base in there. It must be just unreal. It's like
unbelievable.
Like
really.
McDonald's French fries. There's everywhere.
Yeah. When you get to certain strategic areas, and depending on how the sun and clouds and all that, when you look down on this water, it's just polluted with big rainbow trout. Wow. So now, and all this time, I thought, boy, they must really have to.
Yeah,
bring the
fire
feed
the pellets.
back, bring trucks of food in here
helicopter
every day because that's a lot of mass there to feed.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me they
crazy.
feed naturally. I can't even imagine
and
that.
they live for years in there, right? They don't die off in a year or anything like that. These fish keep growing in years. Wow, that's so cool.
They do really well. Actually, they really, this year they wintered very well. Before we even stocked, our members thought that we did stock because all the fish had big fat bellies on them. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of food source there, which is really surprising, but it's a very special area. We're kind of at the bottom of a valley, and it's a lot more like a rainforest than it is a lake because it's a really bountiful place for insects and things like that.
I guess it'd be like a gathering
Do you
collection.
think there's a certain amount of cannibalization going on? Is that possible?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, there's
14 inches, man. That's a meal, isn't it? If it was
but you see the size of these trucks
that
that are in
15 he said, or 17 pounder might take a shot at one. Yeah,
that's right.
They're huge.
Maybe.
There's lots of chub and shiner and things like that in there as well.
Wow,
Yeah.
You said that they survived the winter well. So does your pond ice over with these springs, et cetera, and that, or is it open partially, or what happens to the winter?
Obviously, depending on the weather. This year we had a really good year, and I would say 90% frozen over.
Okay.
But it's not like a lake in the sense that there's a lot more flow. So it has to be very cold.
Right.
And then if you do get some really good ice, we do have ice fishing in the winter as well.
That's what I heard.
That's
fantastic.
cool too. That'd be amazing ice fishing. Dean would go crazy in there.
That would be fishing, definitely proverbial fish in a barrel. That's what
I
you'd
did
be
some
doing.
ice fishing for rainbow years ago, and it was fun. It wasn't like that, but it was similar-ish, very small body of water, and it was fun fishing for those guys under the ice. So that'd
Very
be cool.
aggressive fish.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. Now, one of your members, or certainly one of the people that I was with yesterday, mentioned that you also have a small, isolated population of largemouth in there.
Yes.
Wow.
So there's also one of our staff members has pulled out, I believe, a 5-pounder.
That's what I heard.
Wow.
This is a mecca.
That's what I heard. It's all in that one little corner that you could see from the main body of the lake, from what he was saying, where all the reeds are. And there's a little point coming off there too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the largemouth segregate from.
If you were a largemouth, believe me, you would find a hiding spot on the site, because those trout have got to be intimidating as hell.
Yeah, I would think so. But a 12-inch brookie, if it's stocked, and a 5-pound largemouth, he'd eat that in a pretty quick hurry too. You know what I mean? So it might be.
Obviously, if they're 5-pounders in there, they're eating something good.
Jeez, imagine if they stay in there for another 10 years. Oh my God, they'd be giants. Canadian record.
Any idea how they got in there? Were they planted?
No, I think it's just naturally occurring.
Really?
There's also there's perch. Okay. People have pulled a 12-inch perch as well.
Oh my God!
All right,
This
so
place is
there's
a
food.
Factory.
There's food
Yeah.
for sure. So
they could come in from the creeks too. Maybe he said 3 incoming creeks. Maybe somehow, or birds or whatever. Before you go in there, and speaking of the creeks, do any of the rainbows try to escape into the creeks? Go back up.
I was just going to tell him.
Oh yeah.
And the answer is yes, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But they can only get so far. Like our all the water in our lake comes down off of the Oak Ridges moraine. Mm-hmm. So the sources for those streams are maybe a kilometer or 2 away.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So they get very shallow very quickly.
Yeah, I got you.
But in that kilometer, apparently, they're...
Good creek fishing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all in your property as well, or is that done going on to other,
we own our major source of water. So we have another property that has a 4-foot wide stream on another 70 acres. So it's protected our water source, which is good.
Okay.
What's the total acreage for the club?
260 acres.
Wow.
And
it's totally in the middle of nowhere. In fact, I heard yesterday, speaking to some of the folks there, that a lot of the local communities, like around, they don't even know it exists.
Wow.
Because it's so tucked away.
Yeah.
It's not like you're driving by it.
Yeah.
Like it is.
People are wondering, why is that not built up yet? What's going on? Eh? That's all they're doing when they keep driving past.
It's an incredible, which brings me to another point I want to make. It's probably one of the best kept secrets in the GTA in terms of a fishery. Is that?
Oh, I agree.
Is that purposely done that way, or by accident, or by design?
Well, since I've been here, it hasn't been on purpose.
Okay.
So my goal is to make sure that anyone who's interested in, a really quality fishing club knows about us. No, I wouldn't say that's done on purpose.
Okay. All right.
But we're at the end of a dead end road as well, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're
right.
There's no one ever going past us.
No.
And actually, most of the new members we get are from our current members bringing guests here.
Right.
So there's that.
I'll tell you how obscure this place is. Okay. On my GPS on the truck, it wouldn't find it.
Oh, really?
Under the name Franklin Club or Franklin Fishing Club or Franklin Fishing and Outdoor Club, my GPS would not find it.
Wow.
I had to pinpoint where it was on the map
Yeah.
and navigate to.
Oh, no kidding.
So This is an incredibly well-kept secret. We need, I love breaking secrets out, okay? We need to break this out and tell the masses, because there's also opportunities here, I think, and I don't know whether you've already started working on them, Kevin, or not, but there's a great opportunity that you have, as outdoors and angling community, to introduce young folks to fishing for the first time. This would be if you want to get a kid 10, 12, 13, 14 years old, completely wired up on the outdoors and
spoiled.
fishing, I swear to God,
Yeah.
I would not take them anywhere else. Now that I know this exists, I would not take them anywhere else on the planet. This is where you want to be, because there's so many other things that in the wilderness up there that you can get involved in with the kid, that it's not just fishing, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to keep them on the end of that rod. They can run around, they can do stuff, but the best part is when they hook up, holy mackerel. It's insane.
Yeah,
It's
insane.
insane.
That'd be good for a kid, just to get that feel, get the excitement, get to know what's possible out there. It's not that's not a realistic fishery in the world of the lakes, but it doesn't matter.
But that's how you get started.
Exactly.
Right?
I love that. I got to go out somewhere else.
Exactly.
Because I used to do that with my dad. We did a couple of clubs or ponds or private areas, but we used to do the brook trout stuff on the creeks after that. And then, you know what I mean? It was really cool. You got a story, don't you? You're laughing at something.
Dom, my dad, one time he took Reno and I out, and it was a small little pond somewhere around here. And I guess he had heard about it from people at his work or something. Said, hey, you should take the kids fishing this pond. It's fantastic. But they neglected to tell him that it's an expensive undertaking. So anyway, we get in there, and we just start boom, boom. No, they were all small. They were just like boom, 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 boom. And of course, Dad, typical Italian, right? That's food. We need to take all that home. Catch them all. So we had this garbage bag full of these fish. And when we went to cash out kind of thing, the guy said, whoa. You have to pay by the inch. And at the time, and I don't remember the amount, but it was
ridiculous.
Bankruptcy time. That's
oh my God! Did Damiano arm wrestle him?
He was shocked.
Him?
Man.
Yeah, no kidding.
He was shocked. But anyways, do you do stuff like that at all, or is this strictly, hey, if you're not a member or a guest of a member, no, there's no special program for you?
So we do some outreach with one of the schools in the New York region, where we bring out like 16 people from their outdoor class, and they bring guides, and we do some fishing for the day. There's that. We also have kids lessons for fly fishing with a pro for members.
Nice.
So yeah, it is something that we do. Maybe not our sole focus, but we really want to grow the sport and expose a lot of people to it. And it's a thing that you can do outside with your family, with your spouse.
That's
It's great.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have a limited number of memberships available? Like, you keep a cap on it? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, so we top out at 200. 200. And we don't go any higher than that. We're not able to. Currently, we're at about 180.
Okay.
So there is room for some growth. But it's been we've had a really brisk season with new members this spring in particular. And it seems the word's getting out, and we're becoming more known as a recreation option in the GTA.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
Is there, you guys just said, and maybe you don't want to say, but I don't think it matters, 65 kilometers north of downtown Toronto. Is there a town close by? Like, what area is it in-ish?
So the easy way to think of it is we're 15 minutes east of Newmarket. I would think most people know where Newmarket is.
Yeah.
Pretty much north.
Yeah.
A little bit to the west, but pretty much north from us.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful
east
roads.
Of the 404.
You don't have to take the 407, which I did going up, but coming back, and why am I doing that? Beautifully paved roads all the way up.
Oh, really? Nice.
Gorgeous. I'm telling you, it's an outing to die for if you're listening to this and you want to get started on your fishing season in the right direction, I'm not suggesting that you necessarily buy a membership. We'll get into that in a minute, what that entails, but find out who does have a membership and get them to bring you in.
Yeah. No, I saw on the picture you showed me or something that there was boats there too. It's not just shore fishing. There's there boat fishing too. Explain that. Kevin.
Yeah, so we have about 20 foot long punts.
See, I told you they were long.
Holy crap!
I
So
thought
like
they were
the British style, very flat and very heavy. I weigh about 250 pounds, and I can stand on one end and jump up and down, and you can't flip it.
For fly fishing, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Right? It's a great base. The only thing I would say it's a waste of energy, to be honest with you, because there isn't a bank on that property that I would bet you could not make a cast or two or three or four when those fish are in that vicinity that you couldn't catch fish. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also believe, I told somebody this yesterday, the problem with the boats is that, you want to get away from shore. So you're out fishing out in the middle of this water. When all the fish, clearly, you can see them. All the fish are cruising the shorelines, right?
Oh, really? Yeah.
Feeding whatever they're feeding on. And, you mentioned perch. I wouldn't rule out the possibility that they're offering a little bit more food base than we think in this conversation.
Yeah.
Perch are very prolific, as you know. Man,
Every fish loves eating them.
Nutritionally
humans, right?
speaking, they're at the top of the food chain.
Is there? You made it sound like you're making it sound like every inch of shoreline is accessible for fishing off of, because you don't need to go a boat then. Because is there spots where you can't get to with the?
There are a few. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then it also depends on the time of year, right? So in July, August, the north end of the lake warms up a little, so they go closer to the water sources, right, where it's cooler.
Right.
And then that's when it's probably a bit better to take a boat, right?
Okay.
And then also on a boat, you can be a little more secluded, a little bit more by yourself. Mm-hmm. I know I have one member, he says when he gets out on that boat, he can kind of trick his mind into thinking that he's in like northern Ontario somewhere.
Yeah, I can see that. It kind of
pretty easy to do.
Yeah, are there rowboats or is it electric motors? Rowboats, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we don't have any motorized boats on the lake.
Yeah. Okay.
All human powered.
Yep. Cool.
Now, I didn't get a chance yesterday, but I would have loved to have seen the hatchery and the way you process the fish and stuff. I would imagine, speaking from to some of the folks who I was with, I would imagine that it's quite an advanced hatchery system that you have. And the reason I asked the question is, do you share some of this information, research, technology with other hatcheries, with Ministry of Natural Resources? Is this pretty much the proprietary Franklin Club hatchery?
Well, we are a egg to market operation.
Yeah.
So we do it all from end to end. The hatchery was built in the 70s. We do have some associations with other hatcheries in the area, but we do it all for ourselves. We have 3.5 full-time staff that run the hatchery and the grounds. Our hatchery manager has a degree in biology, and both of our assistants have done the aquaculture program, one at Sir Sanford Fleming and the other one in Nova Scotia at Dalhousie. So we've got a lot of horsepower down there, so to speak.
Yeah, I understand you get a lot of new students just, year one, year two in their training that they rush to you guys. This is the place, apparently, among that group, that this is the place where you want to start.
Sounds like
biology.
I'd want to be there.
It's perfect. It's a perfect environment.
One of the things here is that if you are working on the hatchery, you are using all of your knowledge. Because we're such a small operation and we do everything, there's not one thing that you won't touch. So a lot of times if you come out of an aquaculture program and you go to like a really big operation, like a factory operation, you're going to be feeding fish for the first, 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And not really involved in the technical aspects of rearing the fish. But here you're going to do everything and you'll apply all your knowledge. So that's why it's a really attractive place for someone who is just starting out. And you'll have a big impact on the end result, right?
Yeah,
You'll
it's good
see
training, right? Yeah.
People may look at you and say, man, he's got the perfect job. But I'll bet you're no different than a lodge owner. Lodge owners, for the most part, they get into that business because they say, man, if I could ever get into being a lodge owner, I'll just spend the rest of my life just fishing. Think about it. You're probably the same way. When was the last time you had a chance to cast something out in that water?
It's been a while. The hatchery keeps us very busy.
Yeah.
And it's essential. Not essential. It is farming, right?
Right.
So there's always something to fix, something to improve, something always breaking. A lot of times I'm out here at 2 a.m. The power goes out. We have to, we have generators on the property, but it's always a going concern.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Power would be critical,
would be
wouldn't
huge.
it? Unbelievable. Yeah. How about vandalism? Like, do you get, and I don't mean vandalism in a nasty sort of way, but I know as a kid, we weren't above sneaking a cast or two in areas that we weren't supposed to.
I could see you and I as kids, they need an electric fence around that sucker because we'd be in there otherwise.
Does that happen?
It does, but we have security on the property.
Yeah. I met one of them first thing. As soon as I set foot on the property, I met one of them.
That's right. We have lots of cameras and things like that, but I mean, it happens. We're very secluded. All of our borders. It's not an easy place to get into. That's for sure.
Speaking of vandalism, we'll go into this stealing part here. What about ospreys and birds like that, birds of prey that like their little fish dinner?
So there are a lot of them here. So we also have about 6 bald eagles that call our lake home.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how many osprey, lots of blue herons. I always argue that we should get a tax credit for feeding them. But in my opinion, it adds to
for sure,
the beauty of the place, right?
Yeah.
That you can see this wildlife happening. You can see an eagle, in the morning come taking a fish and happening right in front of you, right?
Wow, that'd be cool.
For an eagle to find this place and make it home, it's like they died and gone to heaven.
He'd never leave. You see that? He'd do the first pass over there and say, "Okay, honey, we're moving into here.
There's where we're building our home. There's
a big pine tree up there, the highest point, and look out, fish."
It would be just incredible.
He'd be on a total fish diet. He wouldn't even look at a rabbit anymore.
No.
A mink, what the hell? I don't want that shit. Oh my god, that would be something else, eh? Heaven.
Anyways, I got to tell you, you speaking of heaven, you got a little piece of heaven there.
I want to ask one more question. You say it's open 365 days a year. You got rainbow brook trout and some largemouth bass, which I'm assuming you can fish for any of them. Do you have to abide by closed seasons in Ontario, or is this, because it's a private club, open all year for open all species?
It's open all year for all species.
Okay.
Because we own the entire shoreline, and then we're stocking it with our own fish.
That's interesting.
Okay.
Really interesting. We've asked that question several times, right? On private property.
You just wonder,
obliged to.
Somebody says, take a cast. I can't. I'm just not in season. It doesn't matter here. Beauchene, I think we had the same thing in Beauchene. They had certain regulations. So the largemouth being natural, are they still, like, can we fish them right now? It's pre-season right now.
I mean, you don't purposely go out and catch bass.
Right.
Here. With a trout fishery.
Okay.
They don't even, nobody touches them.
Yeah. So
opening
day, you and I know where we're going.
God almighty. Especially one of those boats we'd row
up there. Okay. Get them on the top.
You know what we, when I was planning to come up and spend some time with you guys yesterday, one of the things that we thought we said, we should bring up some technology like our forward view live scope units just to see what the image would be like with all those fish in the water column. And then I said, that'd be ridiculous. But it would be an interesting.
It'd be cool.
Just to see the mass that you've got in that lake, right? Just
on perspective mode, looking down, you would see thousands maybe in one screen.
Well, you can see them with your eyes.
Yeah.
So what's below that is,
wow.
What's the deepest point?
About 13 feet.
13, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Perfect
12,
perspective. We could just get in there and take a big
You could see
picture.
the whole
That'd be cool.
top to bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, you could get that range set up proper. Wow. That'd be cool.
It'd be insane.
That would be neat.
We may be coming up to visit you, as you can
Get some
tell.
footage.
Amazing. We'd love to have you.
That'd be great.
So, all right. So, how can folks get more information? How do you have days where you invite prospective members who are maybe just thinking about it? Do you have days where they can come in and sample what you have and that kind of thing?
Well, you can come in for a tour.
Okay.
And you can have a look at the property, and then maybe wet a line for a little bit and kind of taste our offering.
By the way, I have to stop you there. Speak about taste your offering, and this is also why I thought they got to be feeding them something special here. Not only because they're giants, but we had an opportunity to sample them at lunch. From
you
your
ate
dining
some
room.
yesterday?
Oh
Yeah.
my God! You know how I'm not a big trout fan, right? In terms of food, I would eat this every day.
Nice.
Every single day. Like whatever those fish are eating, it's special, is all I got to say. And and I forgot, but they said, yeah, we'll give you the recipe. You have this trout sort of creamy, whatever it's called, that you make there.
Trout mousse.
Trout mousse that you make locally. Yeah. Oh, buddy.
Really? Really?
That is that should be on a shelf in a grocery store called the Franklin Club Trout Mousse.
Our chef, Suzanne, makes that in-house with our fish from the hatchery. And she smokes them in-house as well. And we also make that available for members. Say if you're going to want to wait for the weekend, it makes a really good hostess gift.
Oh,
it's a little unusual,
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I got to tell you.
Did you try the smoked or no? Did you try that too?
We had smoked. We had the moose. We had this wonderful baked.
Nice.
I can't say enough about what I consumed in terms of quality yesterday at this place.
That's
it was
cool.
phenomenal.
That's a great bonus to the package right there.
So somebody can come in, they can take a tour, like you said, wet a line, maybe grab lunch or whatever the case is, and then they can basically sign up to become a member at that point.
Right. So
go ahead.
So if you come out for a tour and think you would like it, there are several options.
Okay.
So you can join as a trial member, which is what most members new members do. Okay. So you join as a trial for a year, and essentially you're paying all the member dues, but you're not outlaying the share price or the initiation fee.
Right.
So you try it out for a year. Like if it works for you and your family, then after that year, you can convert to either a full membership, which you pay the share price and the initiation fee and continue paying dues, or you can go to a 3 or a 5 year financing program.
Wow. Cool. And how does this share thing work? Like what's in it for them? Like what this equity buy, what explain that to us.
So you're buying part of the corporation, and essentially there's a share price. So then it's a piece of equity that you could sell privately to someone that's approved by the club, as well. Say at the end of your membership, you'd like to leave, you can turn it in for credit, and then all your dues would be taken out of that credit until you reach zero, and that would be the end of your membership.
Wow, that's interesting. So as the value goes up, like is it evaluated every year, or how does that work?
The share price is set by the club.
Oh, it's set by the club. Okay, cool. By the way, they got this great bar that has little lockable oak. Looks like oak.
I know exactly.
All these little doors.
I know what it is. It's not for your shoes, is it?
No, it's not for your shoes. Behind the bar, so you can bring, if you have that special bottle of scotch or wine or whiskey or whatever, you can lock it in behind the bar, and then
Beautiful.
when you come to the bar for your lunch or dinner, you say, "Bartender, number 32." He pulls it out. It's fantastic. I was so impressed with what you guys have got there. Just blew me away.
One last point I want to make, because I know about this now, but
We got to move.
Yeah, is that it's not. It sounds like a fly fishing club, but it's not just fly fishing. Correct?
But they have fly fishing.
They have-
lakes.
right. So
ponds.
you can do, but you can bring spinning gear in, and all that stuff too,
what I
right,
did,
Kevin?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So on there's 3 bodies of water. There's the 2 fly fishing only ponds, and then there's the main 20-acre lake, and that's spin casting and fly fishing. And we're single barbless for both.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, excellent.
Very impressive. It's all I got to say. I urge anybody that's listening to this that just wants to see how a private fishing club should be operated. You need to go to the Franklin Club. Go in and just be one of those guys that goes and checks it out, just to have a peek around. It is absolutely fantastic. 65 kilometers from Toronto, from downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
It's an hour's drive anywhere in the GTA. Maximum.
Yeah.
Maximum.
So if you're interested in membership, it's the franklinclub.ca, and there's membership information there. Or you can email Emma, EMMA, at thefranklinclub.ca to book a tour and come out and see us, and we'll walk around, have a chat, and see if you want to join the club.
How long would they have to? How long is the tour?
About 30 minutes.
Perfect. Okay.
We'll walk you around 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
We'll walk you around the property, show you the hatchery. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. And remember, everybody, there's only like 20 spots left, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's
Sure.
there's hundreds
And
of spots.
They're going
So,
fast.
yeah.
For sure.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Listen, thank you very much for the experience, first of all, yesterday, and thank you for coming on the program today. I wish you the best of luck. You don't need it because you
Yeah.
got a gold mine there.
Sounds
but
like it,
It's
yeah.
fantastic, man. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a great day.
All
Talk
right,
to you
Kevin.
soon.
See ya.
Kevin Johnston, General Manager for the Franklin Fishing and Outdoors Club.
Interesting place.
Canada's
Sounds
oldest,
awesome.
I believe, over 100 years in
1909,
existence.
wow.
And I was going to say it looks. I wouldn't be doing it justice if I said that, but you feel the history of the club.
Yeah.
When you walk it, you know.
The pictures you showed me just in that bar itself, that oak or whatever, it's very
But
nostalgic.
even on the trails, you sense it.
Yeah.
The big trees. And,
Yeah.
it's not a new operation. You can
Yeah,
tell this has been there since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when he just blew my mind, by the way, when he said that they're naturally feeding. I would have bet everything I have
Yeah, really.
that feeding program that they've
Yeah.
got there is
Pellets,
like top
right? Yeah.
notch pellets.
Yeah.
But little more than pellets because they're just too big and energetic and colorful and all this stuff. I thought there'd be more than just pellets, but I had no idea that they're foraging naturally in
That's
that body
cool.
of water.
That's cool.
The competition
And
that
living
they
for
must
years.
be under.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why the fishing's so good, right?
Yeah.
Like these fish are constantly, I'm thinking now, stressed in the sense that they've got to find something to eat because there's 1,000 other buddies doing the same thing all around them.
True, yeah. Wow. It's cool.
What a
I love it.
great experience. Check them out, the Franklin Club. As I said, my GPS wouldn't even get me there. So go online. They have directions and
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
The ice fishing is intriguing.
That's really cool.
sure.
That's really cool.
Something we might want to sample that.
Yeah,
I was
it'd be
thinking.
fun.
By the way, I want to interrupt this program with today's weekly special code. And guess what it is, kiddies? Rainbow.
Hey, gringo.
Rainbow. That's RAINBOW, capital letters or not. I never got qualified. Do we
It's
have
all
to
capitals. Has to be all capitals.
It's all
Has to be
capitals?
all
Has to
caps.
be.
Has to be all caps. There you go. You just got it from the boss. RAINBOW, rainbow. Take that and go to the bonus section of the contest and plug that in there, and you get 10 free entries.
Sweet.
Come on
10
now.
free entries. You know what we should do, by the way, before I sign off? Maybe you can help us on this one. I think we should see if we can give away a membership to the Franklin Fishing Club.
Wow.
How cool would that be?
Holy crap. What a prize that would be.
I think
Okay, I'm in for that. We got to change the rules so that you and I can.
That up to all of us.
And Dean, and we could all try and get that one.
Anyways, for the time being, head on over to fishingcanada.com, go to the contest section, enter the word rainbow in the special bonus area there, and you will get 10 free entries in whatever it is we're giving away, because we're giving away stuff every day.
Constantly.
Come on
And
now.
then some.
That are it for us. I think we covered it all, Dean.
Yes, sir. That's it.
We're in good shape.
Yep.
Perfect. We're out of here. On behalf of the entire crew, Volvo over there, Nick over here, Dean over there, he's Peter, I'm Angelo. Thanks for joining us. Catch you next week. This episode of Outdoor Journal Radio has been brought to you in part by the Invasive Species Centre, protecting Canada's land and water from invasive species. Freedom Cruise Canada, rent the boat, own the memories. J&B Cycle and Marine, your home for all things power sports, boats, and equipment. And Sail, the ultimate destination for your outdoor adventures.